Hello, good morning student. How are you? I hope everyone are fine. I am Sudipto sir. Today I am going to discuss some new topic from the chapter The Delhi Sultan. But before that I want to remember you one point. This is you have to join the Google Meet class. If you will not attend the Google Meet class, then your marks will be deducted. And for that reason I will start to keeping your records in my attendance register. So let's start. Today our first topic is administration and consolidation under the Khiljis and Tughlaqs. The early kings of Delhi Sultan appointed their special slave for military service to consolidate their kingdom. These slaves were carefully trained and they were totally dependent upon their masters, and they were trustworthy to Sultan. They called as Bandegan, okay, and their group called as Bandegan-e Chahelgan, okay, because there are 40 members, so in Persian language they called as Bandegan-e Chahelgan. This means this total group called as Bandegan-e Chahelgan, and they appointed as a military general, governor, this kind of important post. Now the question came to the mind, why they are always loyal and depend upon to their masters? Because they were slave. That means they had no freedom. They are totally depend upon their masters. So they are always trustworthy and loyal to their master, and they are always work for their master. Why? Because now they are slave. If they did so many important work for their masters, then their master will be happy, and if their master will be happy, then they will be free from slavism. If their master will be happy, then they will be free from slavism. For that reason they always depend upon their masters, they always loyal to their masters, and they always trustworthy to the sultans. So sultans always like to appoint them slaves in a various kind of important posts, because they never ever cheated the sultans. Just I give an example. Iltutmish, he was a slave of Qutbuddin Aibak in his early life, but when he worked a lot for Qutbuddin Aibak. When Qutbuddin Aibak realized he is a great soldier, then Qutbuddin Aibak appointed him as his military general and freed him from slavism. Just like Qutbuddin Aibak, he was also a slave of Muhammad Ghori. When Muhammad Ghori understand Qutbuddin Aibak, he was a great warrior, then he also appointed Qutbuddin Aibak as a military general of his army. And Qutbuddin Aibak always did a great work for Muhammad Ghori, right now. Slave and clients were loyal to their masters and patrons, but not the new sultans. They always trustworthy, loyal only for their masters, not for the successor of his master, or not for the new sultan. Because new sultan had their own servants, new sultan had their own officers, new sultans had their own slaves. As a result, the accession of a new monarch often saw conflict between the old and the new nobility, because when a new Nawab ascended the throne, in that time the old nobility, they thought they are deposed, they are removed from their post, they lost their powers, so they are always in denied mode to accept the new nobility. So always a conflict started between old and new nobility. The patronage of these humble people by the Delhi Sultan shocked many elites, and the authors of Persian Tariq criticized Delhi Sultans for appointing low and base born to high offices. But it is not a good, because every people, every human, they are human, everyone are equal. By the way, we are going to the next topic, law and order. Like the earlier Sultan, the Khalji and Tughlaq kings appointed military commanders as a governors of territories of different size. The territories were called as Iqta, and their holder was called as Iqtadar or Mukti. Suppose you are the Sultan of Delhi, then you have some friend or you have some military generals. Now you send one military general to overrule Bengal, you send one military general to overrule Bihar. Now when you appoint a military general to overrule the Bengal, in that time Bengal, that means this territory called as Iqta, and your friends or your military general, he called as Iqtadar or Mukti. The duty of Mukti was to lead the military campaignings and maintain law and order in their Iqtas. In return for their military services, the Muktis collected the revenues of their assignments as salary. They also paid their soldier from these collected revenues. Control over Muktis was highly effective only if their office was not inheritable, and if they were assigned Iqtas for a short time span and shifted regularly. Because if they didn't shift it regularly, if their job was not transferable, then we have a lot of evidence this kind of Iqtadas, they are very corrupted and they establish their rule in that area very strongly. Even sometimes they also started a revolt against their Nawab or Sultans also. Okay. Accounts were checked by the accountants. Accountants were appointed by the state to check the amount of revenue collected by the Muktis. Okay, so Muktis and Iqtadars, they had no way to corrupt the revenue, or there are no way to corruption. But yes, sometimes they are corrupted when they rule one place for so long. Mukti collected only taxes prescribed by the state and kept the required number of soldiers. Mukti collected only the taxes prescribed by the state and kept, I am very sorry, it is kept the required number of the soldiers. Okay, that's all.